All right, here we go for part two. We are doing Rocket Lab and their launch of their latest Electron rocket that actually I think launched I think it was yesterday. It might have been, wait, here, it says right here, May 5th. What is today? Today's the 5th, right? Yeah, today's the 5th. So it launched just today. As far as excuses of not watching this live, I have none. I guess I just didn't think about it till it was too late. But hopefully in the future, well, not hopefully, we will in the future as long as I'm available this month because of work. But definitely starting in the summer, I should be available to watch these live, and I will put these live on Patreon for my patrons only. It will be exclusive, whether it's NASA, Rocket Lab, or Blue Origin. From now on, these launches should be broadcasted live, at least most of the time, on Patreon only. So let's get to this. Transition and play. I got an itchy nose. All right. So as far as launch locations are concerned, by far, in my humble opinion, Rocket Lab has the best scenery. It's New Zealand. Come on, you can't beat that. Am I right? If you disagree, let me know. And they have some pretty sweet music too. Bump 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 bump. So they call it the Electron rocket because they use batteries to, it's not start up their engines, I guess. It's to run the turbo pumps, I think. So after it reaches space, they jettison, I think, 2 of the 3 batteries. Don't take my word for it. It's something like that.
Dedicated mission for the U.S. Air Force's Space Test Program. We are coming to you live from Launch Complex 1 on New Zealand's Mahia Peninsula and from Mission Control right here in Auckland. We're approximately 15 minutes away from
to the
target
right
liftoff.
here.
My name is Max Muncy, and I'm part of the launch operations team here at Rocket Lab, and we're thrilled to have you join us for our second launch of 2019.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Try to move my face to a corner of the screen that has no kind of data on the HUD. Okay, awkward silence. Ooh, this has to be a no, it's New Zealand. I'm thinking this is an early morning launch. Let me see. Let me check the details here. When did this launch? 13 hours ago.
We just received confirmation from the launch director that we are go for launch.
I think this is an early morning launch.
14 minutes
he might have
until
said that.
T0.
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
The weather is looking green and Electron is ready for flight.
I feel like Drax. I stopped listening. I was thinking of something else.
The vehicle is fully fueled in both stages as we started filling the liquid oxygen tanks at around T-minus 2 hours and 30 minutes. Those white stripes you see around Electron indicate where the chilled fuel is icing up over the vehicle's black carbon composite structure.
It's that cold. It's supposed to be black, but you see it's white because it's so cold from that LOX, I imagine, is what they're using. Liquid oxygen. If you were to touch the outside of the rocket right now, it would hurt very, very badly because it's so cold. Yeah, pretty sure this is a early morning sunrise. I guess we'll know here in the next
Today's
10,
mission
20 minutes
follows
or
just
so as the
5
sun
weeks
comes
after
up
Electron's last
or goes
launch,
down if it's sunset.
R3-D2 mission.
Not sure what it is in New Zealand.
From day one, frequent and reliable launch has been the goal here at Rocket Lab, and well, now it's our reality. So let's take a look back at that mission.
Let's do.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, that sucker just goes.
As you can see, we had a beautiful liftoff on our last mission. Electron safely carried the payload to a precise orbit and continued our heritage of mission success. It was our 5th Electron launch and took our total count of satellites deployed up to 25. We're looking forward to making that number 28 with tonight's launch.
He might have said this already, but this launch is going to take 3 satellites up for the United States Air Force. And even though this is in New Zealand, it's only partially owned by a New Zealand company. It's actually run, I believe, hey, look, a sheep, or a cow, I don't know what it is, too dark, It's actually run by an American company, or an American, or whatever.
Avionics, flight on mission code.
Flight avionics.
Just a fun fact.
Please disable HVBH and fans and confirm.
HVB heaters and fans are disabled.
GC retract fairing umbilical.
GC flight on mission code.
It's pretty cool
Please
how
send pre-valve open command
it's
and
like
confirm.
become a common thing for just companies to broadcast or
And open
webcast their
HVBH
launches
isolation
nonchalantly. Like, yep, this is our company's webcast of our launch of our rockets. And then there's like 5 other companies that are doing it. Let's see, there's, as far as companies are concerned, you got Blue Origin, Rocket
Sitting with
Lab,
clamp open.
obviously SpaceX. Feel like I'm missing some, but those are like the big 3. What a time we live in. Sue, pretty sparks. Those might not have been sparks now that I think about it. I wasn't really paying attention. I need to start paying attention. It might have just been the liquid oxygen chipping. I guess the frozen oxygen, you should say. Condensation chipping away off the body of the rocket.
VMS, this is flight on mission code.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think
Please
the
confirm
sun
all
here is
separation
coming
events
up.
are.
I'm pretty sure it's sunrise.
Retracting
Confirmed.
strong back.
RF flight on mission code.
Flight RF.
Please confirm the S-band
So
has
they
been
call
switched to
this
high power for
structure,
flight.
the stand here, they call that the
S-band is a
strong
high
back
power
as
for
well,
flight.
just like
And
SpaceX.
avionics flight on mission code.
I guess it's a generic
Okay, flight.
term.
Confirm the stage 2 battery hot swap is ready.
There it goes.
Stand by.
There goes my dog barking
AFTS
again.
RCO mission.
Ah.
Go for AFTS.
Army FTS.
Pyro, I will spank your booty.
Flight stage 2 hot swap
AFTS
ready.
is armed and logic
Big
has been
hairy
enabled.
booty. Alright, I'm going to let this run. I'll be right back.
And avionics, please confirm the hot swap is from stage 2 HVB2 to stage 2 HVB3.
Confirm stage 2 HVB2 to HVB3.
And confirm stage 2 HVB1 and 2 are enabled, HVB3 is disabled.
Confirm stage 2 HVB1 and 2 enabled. HVB3 disabled.
And confirm all stage 1 HV bats are enabled.
I'm so sorry.
Confirm stage 1 HV bats are enabled.
Stage 2, confirm stage 2 engine is ready.
Stage 2 engine is ready.
Confirm igniter pressures are within bounds.
He says
Igniter
he's
pressures are
sorry.
within bounds.
Confirm Curry catalyst preheat is disabled.
Preheat is disabled.
And confirm lock set point to 365 kPa and Kero to 205
Now
kPa.
it looks like it's getting
Confirm
darker.
locks at
Maybe it's
365,
sunset.
Kero at 205.
I don't
Stage
know.
1, confirm all stage 1 engines are ready.
All stage 1 engines are ready.
Excuse you, that was rude.
Confirm range igniter pressures are within bounds.
Range igniter pressures are within bounds.
And confirm stage 1 lock set point is 400 kPa and Kero is 225 kPa.
Confirm 400 kPa for LOX and 225 kPa for Kero.
Aboard Electron today, we have 3 experimental spacecraft which will demonstrate advanced new technologies for the U.S. Air Force and for the U.S. Army. This mission was made possible by the DoD Space Test Program and the Defense Innovation Unit. The payloads range in size from a tissue box to a small refrigerator. The total payload mass on this mission is around 180 kilograms, making it Electron's heaviest launch to date. While not as heavy as traditional geostationary satellites, these payloads are highly sophisticated and aim to test a wide range of technology developments, including synthetic aperture radar, avionics miniaturization, space situational awareness, and much more. To learn more about today's mission, let's hear from the Space Test Program.
The Space and Missile Systems Center's upcoming launch,
he's only a second lieutenant.
STP-27RD, is a result of an innovative
responsibility
partnership
for
between
him.
the DoD Space Test Program,
It's like the
the
lowest
Defense
rank you can have
Innovation
for an
Unit, and
officer.
Rocket Lab USA. This mission is part of the Rapid Agile Launch Initiative, a program designed by
We're
the
probably
Space
just like,
Test Program
his
to drive
commander was probably just,
accelerated
hey
space
kid, just
access for the
go talk in
Department
front of
of
this camera
Defense.
and look cool.
Our goal of this mission is to leverage the growing small launch industry to put satellites
He's
in
probably
orbit
fresh
faster
out of the,
in a more cost-efficient manner.
fresh out of the Air
Rocket
Force
Lab's
Academy,
Electron
or
rocket provides the
maybe he's
perfect
Army. I didn't
chance
really
for the
look.
space test program to work with this
Or
innovative launch
fresh out of
company
college
while delivering state-of-the-art
from the
DoD
ROTC program.
research and development satellites to space. The DoD Space Test Program helps accelerate
Air Force.
game-changing new space technologies. This includes spacecraft and the launch vehicles that get them to orbit. Our launch with Rocket Lab will deliver 3 unique satellites to low Earth orbit that will advance space technology for the DoD. These satellites were developed by York Space Systems, the Air Force Research Laboratory, the U.S. Air Force Academy, and the United States Army's Space and Missile Defense Command. The Space and Missile Systems Center is moving faster than ever to deliver innovative new space technology to orbit and lower the barriers to access to space. We are thrilled about today's launch. This mission will put exciting new technology demonstrations into orbit and at a fraction of the cost of previous DoD launches. This launch will pave the way for creative new capabilities that enable the U.S. Air Force and the Department of Defense to outpace any space threat.
Thank you, sir.
And we are so excited to be launching these payloads today. Thank you to the Space Test Program and DIU and to all the other teams behind today's mission. Now, as you heard, this mission is called STP-27RD. However, here at Rocket Lab, we also like to give each Electron rocket its own name. We like to get creative with these names, and we've dubbed this one, That's a Funny Looking Cactus. The name came about because the
What?
Space Test Program is based in New Mexico, and if you've been there before, you know there's a lot of cacti around. We pictured what it would be like to see Electron in that setting, and what do you know? It's a funny looking cactus.
They do name their rockets different weird names. They're pretty funny, actually. I can't remember their first one. It was something very generic and bland for a rocket name. It was pretty cool. Now, Rocket Lab doesn't land their rocket boosters. Whether they plan on doing it down the road, I have no idea. I think Tim Dodd tried to make the case that they would never try to do that, but I feel like I heard somewhat recently that they are
If
thinking
you've been
about it or
following
it's in the
Rocket Lab's
works. I don't know.
activities, you might have
No
seen
idea.
we recently announced the evolution of the kick stage to Photon, our in-house designed and built small satellite platform or spacecraft bus. As the global leader in small satellite launch, Rocket Lab has made dedicated, frequent, and reliable access to space a reality for small satellites. With Photon, we've taken our mission services even further. Rocket Lab is now an integrated spacecraft build and a launch service. So rather than building their own hardware, small satellite operators can simply come to us with their payload and idea, and we'll take care of building the satellite and also launching it. This means our customers can get to orbit faster and start generating
That's cool.
revenue quickly by providing real space capability in just a few short months, rather than the traditional years it takes to get to orbit. Photon is an advanced and planned evolution of the kick stage. It operates a high-powered iteration of the flight-proven 3D-printed Curie propulsion system. It can support missions in low Earth orbit with up to a 5-year lifespan. The first Photon customers are launching early next year, and we're thrilled to be streamlining access to space for them.
Kick stage is just part of the payload that is used to push the payload even further into orbit or wherever it's going. So it leaves the rocket itself. All right, 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes. Hopefully there's no hold or anything. I guess we could find out, but I
We're
don't want to
approaching
ruin the
T-3
suspense.
minutes, so let's leave it with mission control to follow the remainder of the countdown.
I feel like it's getting darker outside, but I'm so curious to know if this is during sunrise or sunset. I'm putting my money on
And Flo, this
sunrise.
is flight on mission call.
But then again, I'm pretty
Please
good
disable
at going
power
broke.
package rack and confirm.
This is kind of like SpaceX, how they have all their employees that aren't in the
To all
control
operator,
room
vehicle is ready.
in the background. That's pretty cool.
VMS
is flight on mission call.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
sun's
are go
coming
for
up.
Auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes.
It's coming up. I've made up my melons. It's sunrise. 13
What a
hours ago,
sequence
New
is
Zealand
launched.
is probably ballpark like 5 hours ahead of Eastern time here in the States. So that'd be about 8 hours ago. So that, and if it's, what time is it right now? It's 5 o'clock. So yeah, that would put it sometime in the morning in New Zealand. But yet it looks like it's getting darker to me.
Avionics, this is flight on mission call.
I'm going
Flight
to solve
avionics.
this mystery right now. I'm
Please
going to look it
confirm
up.
all AV bats have been switched to internal power.
Confirm vehicles on internal power.
RCO, flight on mission code.
Sarcio, go ahead.
Confirm ground power has been disabled on all 3 stages.
All stage powers down.
And to all operators, vehicle is on internal power.
Pressing locks.
All right, so 6 UTC. What is 6 UTC? Two a.m.
PLS, flight on mission code.
here in Eastern.
Right.
Please disable
So-
anti-geysering and confirm.
2 a.m.
Pressing
Eastern would be sunrise
Confirms
in New
disabled.
Zealand because that would be
Stage 1, confirm
about
stage 1
7,
is
I
pressed.
think.
Stage 1 pressed.
Stage 2, confirm stage 2 is pressed.
Stage 2 is pressed.
AV battery checks.
High flow engine purge active.
Yes. Oh wait. Holy cow! No way.
Commanding deluge on.
2 a.m. Eastern time is 6 p.m. in New
Kelly John.
Zealand. What? Holy cow! Are they that far ahead of us? I never knew that. No wonder why it's getting darker outside. I look up
GNC
at my screen
systems.
just now and realize no, it's actually going down. So yeah, this is an evening launch. Sweet. Man, this whole time I've probably been looking really
Rereading
stupid.
engines.
You've probably been screaming at your screen like, "It's sunset, Kevin! It's sunset, ya big doof!" Derp, derp.
10, 9,
At
8,
least we figured it out. See,
7,
it's called doing your homework,
6,
doing your research.
5,
If any of my students are
4,
watching this, that's
3,
how it's done.
2, 1.
That's loud.
First motion.
So awesome. Looks like something huge fell from the rocket.
Stage
Should have
1
been a piece of
propulsion is
ice.
nominal.
Kind of started floating there for a minute. Looks like a sun.
As you just saw, we've had successful liftoff of Rocket Lab's STP-27RD mission on That's a Funny Looking Cactus. The next major milestone we're
tracking
coming up to
downrange.
is max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Guidance is nominal.
This is where the forces on the vehicle are at their greatest during flight. So let's listen in.
I don't know why I was thinking New Zealand was only like 5 hours ahead of us. I guess I kind of think of like the UK, but they're nowhere near the UK. I know that,
Coming
but
up on max
I don't know.
Q.
They're way east. So that makes sense.
Max Q.
Go Rocket, go.
And there you have it. Electron has passed through max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Now they put, unlike Blue Origin and like SpaceX, they put cameras on their rockets, like you're seeing right here. So we should get some decent views.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Coming up
Hi,
soon,
Lisa,
Electron
Tesha.
will go through a series of key mission milestones in relatively quick succession. Starting with main engine cutoff, or MECO, the 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage will shut down in
30
preparation for
seconds remaining.
stage 2 separation. Following this separation, we'll see ignition of the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage.
How many engines did they say are on the bottom? I'm gonna look that up. I don't want to have to rewind it.
Speed is 2 kilometers per second.
Entering burnout detect mode.
Five seconds remaining.
Stage 1 MECO.
Here we go.
Stage
Nice.
separation succeeded.
Stage 2 engine started.
As
That's
you can
funny.
see, we have had MECO or main engine cutoff.
You heard the
Electron's
applause
and
first
second
when the
stages
camera
are
was
separated
on
from
this
each other,
second
and the
stage.
vacuum-optimized
You heard the
rutherford
clapping,
engine on
and then they
Electron's second
switched
stage
to
will
mission
continue
control,
onto orbit.
and you heard the clapping
Very
like
soon,
5
we
to
will
10
see the
seconds
fairing
later.
jettison
So
and fall away from the
the
vehicle.
camera and mission
The
control
fairing
is actually
protects the
delayed a
payloads
little
during
bit
ascent, but it
from the
isn't needed once
from
we
the
ascend to
camera
thinner
on the
parts
second
of the
stage.
atmosphere.
Interesting.
Fairing separate.
And there it goes. Electron's
oh, okay,
fairing
9
has been
inches. That's what I thought I
jettisoned to
heard.
make way for payload deployment approximately
So
50
same as the
minutes from now.
Falcon 9. All right, so
With the fairing gone, Electron continues towards orbit. Everything is looking great so far.
we're gonna burn this thing for another like 4.5 minutes. 4 minutes. Let's fast forward to the second engine cutoff.
Stage will separate. So we've got about 1 minute left before it's stage 2 engine shutdown.
Pretty colors.
Seconds remaining.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I bet the reason why all these rocket companies are webcasting their launches is to as a form of advertisement. Not only get people engaged in rocket science and all that stuff, but also to show potential customers, hey, look at what we can do. Because it's basically the same thing as paying for commercials on TV. I mean, the more popular you are, the more companies that more clients that you'll reach. Economics 101.
Confirm stage 3 separation.
So they jettison the
And with that call,
payload.
we can confirm that the kick stage has separated from Electron's second stage. As we mentioned earlier, we won't be receiving video of today's payload's deployment, so we've prepared a short video illustrating this process.
Let's see it. So second stage just booted the kick stage, and now the kick stage is going to take the payload the rest of the way. And here she is.
At approximately T plus 54 minutes, the 3 satellites on today's mission will be deployed to precise, predefined orbits in quick succession. So stay tuned to our social media channels for confirmation of this payload deployment.
Very cool.
So with that, we're going to end today's webcast. A huge thanks to...
All right. Well, then let's end it. So yeah, that concludes this part 2 of today's, not live launch webcast that I'm doing. But in the future, again, I plan on doing these non-SpaceX ones live exclusively for you, my Patreon members. So I'm not sure when the next ones are for Blue Origin and Rocket Lab. I just looked. I looked online on a couple different websites right before I started this second one, and I didn't really see anything. But the next one will be SpaceX with the first official Starlink launch, and that's supposed to launch on May 15th. So just a week or so away. And I'll see you at that one, but I'm sure I'll see you before then with another episode of SpaceX in the News. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being my Patreon members, and I will catch you in the next one. God bless you guys. Stay righteous.